And you also need a base. Today I'm going to show a velouté, which is one of the mother sauces, and it's really simple to make. It's only 4 ingredients. So let's get started. Into a small pot I have 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and I'm going to basically be making a roux. Now the one difference here is that I'm going to sweat some onions in with the butter before I add my flour. So I have 1 small onion here that's diced up. Now you don't need to worry about dicing it super fine because we're going to blend this soup together in the end. And this will take just a few minutes for the onions to soften and sweat. Now, classically, cream soups were made with a totally different base. They were made with a bechamel. And if you guys remember, a bechamel is another mother sauce that is made out of milk that is thickened with a roux. But oftentimes, when you create a cream soup based on that base, the vibrancy of color isn't as great, and it's also a little bit heavier. Having this thickened stock, this velouté, is lighter, silkier, and it also adds a greater dimension of flavor because you have chicken stock or a flavored stock included. So now the onions have become translucent, they're losing some of their moisture, and I'm going to add the flour. Again, this is the other component to the roux, which is going to thicken this whole soup. So I have a 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of flour, and I'm going to whisk this in to my butter and onion mixture. And you want to cook the flour a little bit. You want to get rid of that raw flour taste. The longer you cook the flour, the more nutty it will get. So just a minute is fine here. And now I'm going to slowly add my chicken stock. So I have 4 cups of chicken stock here. Add a little bit of your stock into your mixture here, and you want to whisk vigorously to make sure that you avoid the clumps. So whisking vigorously and adding in stages here will help to avoid having a clumpy mixture. So this looks pretty good. And the rest of the chicken stock here. Now you want to bring this up to a boil and then reduce it down to a simmer, and simmer this for about 10 minutes until it gets nice and thick. Again, whenever you're working with flour or if it's cornstarch, any starch has to be brought up to a boil in order for it to reach its thickening potential. So as this cooks and simmers, I'm going to work on the vegetable portion. So there are 2 components. Remember, the base and the vegetable. So you could really do anything here. The possibilities are endless. Today I'm going to be using spinach, but I have some other examples of vegetables that you could use here. Broccoli, mushrooms, and cauliflower. You could do asparagus. Really, anything that you love in a soup, you could put into this. What you need is about 1 3/4 pounds to 2 pounds of the raw vegetable, and then you have to cook it. You have to get rid of some of that liquid. Today with the spinach, I'm going to blanch this in some boiling salted water here, just for a minute or 2. And I would do the same thing with asparagus. I would do the same thing with broccoli. With the mushrooms, to really develop the flavor, I would suggest sauteing them. But the base amount that you'll need is about 1 3/4 pounds to 2 pounds of the vegetable. So you really only want to blanch the spinach here for about a minute because you want to maintain that bright green color. And I'm going to plunge this immediately into some ice water to stop the cooking process to maintain that wonderful color. So now once the spinach has cooled down enough, what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze out any excess moisture. You want to make sure that you remove the excess moisture so that your soup isn't too light or too runny. So the velouté is nice and thick. Now, as you can see, this does not have the texture of a bechamel. It's not very thick and pasty. It's lighter and silkier. And now I'm going to blend our spinach and our velouté together. So again, you can do this with any vegetable you like. If you like corn, you could blanch some corn or saute some corn and add that here. But any vegetable, really. And now ladle in half of this right over the spinach. And then put the top on your blender. And whenever you're blending something that's hot, you want to remove the little middle guy, the little middle insert here, and place a towel over the top, because what you're doing is you're blending this up and it's hot and there's steam in there. So If this mixture is closed off and contained, what might happen is the top might actually pop up and create more of an explosion. So use a towel, leave it slightly ajar, and start on a lower speed, and then you want to bring it up to a higher speed. Okay, you can see how beautiful the color is here. And again, it really helps to use a velouté as opposed to a bechamel. You will get a beautiful emerald green color if you're making broccoli, if you're making spinach like I am. Now I'm going to strain this mixture through a sieve just in case there are any little pieces of spinach left into a clean pot. And I'm just gonna finish up with my second batch here. So the second batch is done here, again, right through a sieve. And so now for the final touch here, you need to season the soup up a little bit, so I'm gonna add some salt. Now, if you wanted some pepper here, you could certainly do that. I'm a big fan of black pepper, but if you didn't want to see little flecks of black pepper in your soup, you could certainly use white pepper. That's very classic, it's very French. And also to gild the lily, add a half a cup of heavy cream. You can turn your burner on a very low heat to bring this up to a nice hot temperature, but you don't really want to bring this mixture up to a boil because you might end up curdling the cream slightly, and also your vibrant green color is also going to start to get a little bit darker, more like an olivey green if you do heat this up too high. So ladle this delicious soup right into your serving bowl. If you want to get serious, you should warm your serving bowl before serving this because then it will stay warmer longer. And you could top this off with a little bit of extra heavy cream, or as I like to do, some croutons. There you go, guys. Now, if you have any kitchen conundrums, cooking conundrums, baking conundrums, whatever, write in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you guys. And as always, it's the winter time. Enjoy some warm soup.